So what then I thought about is I'm like trying to go, uh, I go about my day, and then I interact with young people and young men a lot, and then I just throughout the day, man, noticing the different responses to the story, and definitely a lot of the young men I spoke to that were familiar with the story were not okay with it. They had words for the men who did it. They, calling them all types of coward. So it was clear that like they recognized that that behavior is not okay. That that's not something that as a man, quote unquote, you should do. Um,
How old are these men?
uh,
Now that you're talking about that, you saw that they
17,
were like,
18, 17, 18. Yeah.
God bless them. That's what's up.
So, I think, folks can easily look at this and say, there's another side to this as well who would probably say that there are a lot of men who condone this kind of behavior, um, as it can seem so common. Because I know if I grab, five women I know, it is likely that majority of them, or if not, even if
Abuse.
one of them or two of them had that kind of experience or similar to it, it's too many, you know.
Yeah.
However, I will also say that, I'm sure there'd be others that would say, like, as a man, again, we would know more than anybody because, as well, when we interact with men, we know that oftentimes we come across very aggressive men. So we know that. You know what I'm saying? We know you approach a man on any idea, it can go left as well, um, or any proposition. So, it was a scary thought, and I think it's. I'm glad that most of the majority of the young men I spoke to um, were not okay with it. I couldn't also help but think that there's still ways in which I think we socialize uh, as men towards women
Nice.
that that that
Doesn't
like
really add to our connection.
yeah, it
But
doesn't, and then it kind of leads to this kind of violence. You know what I mean? Like it's not. It goes hand in hand with the other stuff. You know what I mean? Um, and especially the ways we are taught to be in control. Taught that the man has to be the provider, but also in our relationship to women, we have to have some sort of control over them, lead them in some aspect, um, and what we say goes in some degree. Like, yes, we have a partnership, but it's like ultimately what I say goes. And, so, yeah. So, we were, again, an opening, again, that as I'm going, like, right, that's why the story is so much, man. It's so layered, man, because, um, and it's tough to see because it's like what my second thought after seeing the story is like, damn, what do I do, what do I do, um
this, okay? That's why we're here.
yeah you know and try not to
And
feel helpless about it, obviously, because as you said, right, this and saying something about it, but expressing a clear line of like, this is not okay, because I do think that needs to be that again. I
without a
want
doubt.
to do that again, and be more loud about it.
Amen.
Because just to be clear, again, because I know, again, I do think that majority of the people and the men that I know around me would not be okay with it, um, at all, and do not condone that kind of behavior.
Yeah.
Um, Hold on one second, because I don't even know how loud the
Well, to
audio is.
piggyback off of you as we
Yeah.
take a second, bro, I just think that to myself, the one thing that we can do is just provide outlets. That's it. Because what I see in that kind of situation was that this man clearly was affected by the energy that was given back to him, and he didn't know where to place it. You know what I mean? So the only outlet that he was given was one that was it was gonna have a power surge.
Mm,
It was gonna be terrible. Somebody was
mm,
about to get burned because it was just too electric. He couldn't handle it, so he had to cause damage. And that's what I pray that this thing that we're trying to build right here can do for people, where you know what I mean, it doesn't have to stay in this present time, which is the gift of technology, that we can have this recorded and keep it to stand through the test of time, where they can always come and hear men who they can relate to speak on not only their experiences personally, but you know what I'm saying, individually and together, man. Because to tell you, man, I've had an experience where I never put my hand on a woman, but I've had an experience where a woman put their hands on me. multiple occasions. And still, the conversation is that you need an outlet. It does not. It's still the same conversation that to put hands on a woman, to put hands on any spirit, is not condonable. Is not what we're here for. You know what I mean? If anybody is gonna chastise you, it will be God. It will be your creator, and you need to find an outlet. If you cannot, then you need to give it to God. And if you don't have that, then you know what I mean. I pray that God let us to just be here together, so that we can be here for you. You know what I mean? Love to that, man. My heart goes out to all of them, because I know that I know the man does not gonna have it easy either. Because if the world that we're trying to create is to come to fruition, that kind of act will leave him in a singular state. And I don't, and that's not just the vision. That's not the vision. You know what I mean? The vision is unity.
Yeah, and what and how does he even, even on that end, like what would be what does also then justice really look like in this case, and if he's not redeemable, and if he's not redeemable, then who around him is, because again, it's likely that he's not the last one that's gonna be like that. You know what I mean? And this is again a problem since I can remember, since I was going outside in high school, seeing it firsthand. And so, yeah, this kind of where we're at with this conversation. So I think some of the things we wanted to kind of then get into, I guess, for the first one is really just talk about what does it mean to be that then for ourselves. I mean, obviously it's 2024 now, so we're entering a new decade, a new time. And so, yeah, what do you think? What does it mean now? You know what I mean? What does it mean to say, like, to identify as one, and
identify as a man?
Yeah, like, 'cause, there's always talk of identity, right? And I think it's so for someone to say, what does it mean to be a man then, right? And then kind of like comparing that to what we thought it was when we were, I guess, growing and developing.
Well, where should we start? Should we start with what it means stereotypically to be a man, or what it means spiritually for us to be a man? Stereotypically?
Well, in terms of
yeah, let's talk about the world, right?
Well, yeah, let's decide, like, what the world around us. Yeah, how we growing up. What do our cultures say? Where does our location, our geography says? What, like, so what does the East Coast say? It means to be a man. You know what I mean?
You just hit me with I don't know what it was. Let's call it God. God just hit me with the visual of the Fantastic Four. And obviously there's 4 people, 1 woman, right? Why does the woman have to be invisible? We never as men are invisible, right? So let's talk about the 3 men right there. We have to be completely flexible. We have to be straight up flexible. We have to be fiery spirits, and we have to be so freaking hard that you are basically a rock.
Got that.
I don't know what it was, man, but that shit just came to me, man.
Yes, a metaphor.
Right, love, man. It just comes, bro, and that to me was just that. Just to me was is when I think about it, where you have to have immense strength. You know what I'm saying? A man has to be like a rock. You're the rock of the family. You can't be sensitive. You cannot be gentle. You have to be a fiery spirit. You know what I'm saying? When you think about the beauty of Bruce Lee, when he was tell you to be like water. You can put water in a cup and it takes many forms. But Bruce was a worldwide thing where he was transcendent for that very reason. Many men are more like fire, where they have to burn. And if you're too masculine, like in my opinion, what you touch will get hurt. It will burn people if you don't have a control over your flame. And then the flexibility to me, when I got to that whole thing, was like, for me personally, I felt like I had to be immensely flexible in my relationships. That you know what I mean? Like, I had not learned how to in a healthy way say what I want, say what I need, without coming off demanding, without
Mm.
disengaging because it was a problem. You know, all of these things. That's where the metaphor
Mm.
makes sense to me. You know what I mean?
Nah, yeah, I didn't think about that one. That's that's deep, man. You really pulled that one out. I was like, Fantastic Four. Where is he going with
That's
this?
a Barney bag right
Where is
there.
he going
Use
with this?
your imagination.
Okay. Well, yeah,
Love,
man.
bro, love.
I mean, I'm not. I don't. These days, it's funny. I didn't think I consume as much. I definitely don't consume as much media as I did, honestly, like 10 years ago, even. You know, honestly, I don't know if it's time. I don't know what it is. I don't like. I can't even tell you the last show I watched. I could tell you the last show I watched in entirety. It was probably The
Oh,
Last of Us, and I think that
oh,
came out like last year or something.
me
So
too, bro. Actually, that's fire.
So other than that, I really have not kept up with. The only reason why I keep up with anything is just whatever I consume through social media, or I'm just looking up um, through articles and stuff that I'm clicking on. But and then sometimes the podcasts that I do listen to in passing, that they bring up stuff from the media or like shows, and you
Right,
know.
right.
But as far as like consuming much media, I have not, man. So um, I guess when I think about that question about what it means to be a man then now is how is it defined even through like the media, because in many ways, like, that was, I think, what helped shape my definition of a man was the media that I consumed. um I think even just like stuff I see on social media, it's still kind of this, to be a man means to be tough still. Yeah, like, it means to be tough. It means to be to have be financially stable, astute. Um, to You have to be into women and a certain type of woman.
Right. If you don't like women, that's
Uh,
not man. Right, right.
you have to, stuff that you do has to be considered pretty. You know, you have to be rugged and aggressive in many ways. But it's okay to be friendly. But a man's man is the more aggressive you are, and the more of I guess, quote unquote, I don't know if it's, I guess, leader you can be, the more of a man you look,
Stern, very stern.
and
Yes.
the more you can wear the title of a man. So I think that still exists, and I think even now those ideas, and if they sound familiar to you, is like, we grew up with those same definitions of what it means to be a man, I think, and they haven't gone anywhere really. As defined by here in America, I think, again, there's ways in which you learn about that globally. The definition of what it means to be a man, certainly there's some changes, and cultures do things differently. But speaking from where we at, like, it's pretty much, man, the same kind of definitions I see, and the stuff you mentioned, right? The no emotion, or yeah, and when I say I see is again, I'm reflecting also on just my work experiences. And just anecdote, and like just seeing what I see in person in some of the young people I work with, but even the older people I work with, the yeah, because I work with adults as well. So they're still up against these same ideas, right? The ones that are the men, they're still up against these ideas that they have to portray themselves a certain way. They have to carry themselves in these ways that I mentioned, and if they're not that, I can see how it affects their sense of their confidence, or their sense of self and their security. Um, and yeah, with that, like, man, is stuff that you know you and I have had conversations, because we've been blessed to be able to talk about this type of stuff when we were in high school.
Right, right.
But
It's the rap program.
it's crazy to think that nearly 20 years later, like, it's still present, and we're still grappling with similar things, um, differently. And I think there's ways in which I think men are more open now, than ever, in the way they can express their fashion sense. I do think, and that's different than, I think, the rigidness I think we grew up with. Um, I think there's openness in which men can express, like, more love for each other in their language, that I don't know that I seen as much displayed as much as, you know.
I agree. I
Like I
agree.
do think, like for example, even in sports, the way athletes are looking out for each other and expressing their support and love for one another through social
Oh, good
media.
shit. Good shit. Yeah, right. Like,
Yeah, I mean in the aggressive way, and
yeah.
also like in really like softer ways, I guess, you know, in much more caring, supportive ways. In ways that I've only honestly witnessed, and like because mentors for me brought me into circles like that of other men who would be very supportive, very openly. You could be vulnerable. You know, I've seen those spaces in real, and you know, and like I like the smaller
Real
level.
time, presently, right? You're saying that.
Yeah, at a smaller level, but you know, over the years, I can say I've seen more examples, especially in sports, of like men speaking in like with a lot more like lot more just love and supporting each other, and like what would used to, I think, I guess looking back, it would be considered much softer maybe from the examples you used to see, you know. And
Yeah.
then you also got
Growing up, I
examples.
definitely one of the things, I don't know if it was a Bronx thing, but it could be just a man thing, is that we would definitely make a joke on it. If you couldn't take a joke, then we weren't really friends. Like, you know what I mean? That the
And if you're gonna take
manhood,
a tough joke, yeah.
yeah, the manhood, the way we connected was, I'm going to joke on you till you think you about to cry. You're gonna be so mad and so sad, so angry that I'm testing your manhood, like with a joke too. And blessings to everyone, blessings to everyone on that journey,
Yeah.
because it's not easy. But in the same vein, man, my testimony has just been, throughout all the bad, I can see the good, because at the end of the day, I just see God's hand in everything. And God has been cleaning up the mess for all of us for centuries, generations, and it is in the word that it will not end. You know what I mean? For all generations, all who have breath, you know what I mean? Give love to God. So as long as we keep that, bro, as long as we keep a perspective on things that are bigger than thou,
Mm.
I think that we will be on a journey to healing. Whether it's a quick one that we get there, whether it's a long one, it is going to be one. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I definitely agree with you, man, that it's changed, and it's been, unfortunately, I would love to see it in my time where women don't have to fear us
Mm.
specifically, because even me, with my nature to be protective of women and make them feel comfortable, is hurt my soul as many times as I had to walk and cross the street just because I could feel that, you know what I mean, they're uncomfortable with me and my pace, and I'm just walking, right. I didn't mean to be behind you. I didn't mean for you.
Mm.
I'm sure you didn't mean to walk in front of me, right? Like, even if we were walking side by
Mm.
side, you still be uncomfortable.
Mm.
So I cross the street respectfully for them. I pray that there's a day where I don't have to. Um, but until then, I have to respect and honor the truth of the matter is that not many of my brothers are looking out for the sisters in that way, and I gotta do the most I can um, for their comfort.
Yeah.
I do love that there is an openness to expression in clothing for men.
Mm.
I do have a little, I have a challenge to that, because that, to me, it doesn't matter what you wear. You know what I mean? So to me, I challenge that to
Mm.
go farther, because that is really just capitalism. You know what I mean? That really, to me, is just is like that. That serves the pockets of those who are designers who created the divide in the first place. Right? You created the divide in the first place when women can wear pants and men can wear skirts. Now you want to gatekeep and open the door, and I'm supposed to think that is, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
That is some sort of that we hit some sort of feat.
Mm.
Nah, man. You know what I mean? Like, nah. But I'm not gonna knock a good thing.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But I do see that there is way more progress to be had.
Yeah. No, and to that effect, man, I think, you know, as we want to talk about and get into, so like we've been so far defining it, like some of the things we see is similar, because again, we don't. These are the things that we grew up with still existing. So, what do you think? What do you think has been? Because to do our part will be also to challenge these ideas and this type of thinking, and so in each other. But before we get there, like, what do you think has still is still something that you are working to like define or redefine for yourself in like as far as like what it means to be a man, right? And or is there anything that like you still like feel like or you believe you struggle with, you know, when it comes to like defining your life on this planet, you know, by these rules that says like if you want to be a man you have to be this way, like, right? And we just named some of those ways. And then, you know, if you're not, the consequence of that is that you feel less than, insecurity, and obviously there's words that you get called if you're not that. So, yeah, man, what would you say is the hardest it has been for you to still maybe challenge yourself in, or you've already redefined?
Well, I well, first and foremost, I think the challenge is ongoing because it doesn't just stop with me. You know what I mean? I have it in my spirit to help a lot of the men around me. So I can foresee that the challenge is ongoing, and I'm never gonna just be okay with where I am because, like I told you, I personally have the truth where I never put my hands on any woman, but I know God has spoken to me to have to be there for the men who have and not to place any judgment on them. So, and that is going to be difficult, you know. However, that is not one of my struggles. I do struggle with, and God has been really helping me with bringing me awareness to it. Hypersexuality. Um, the hypersexuality within men has been one that is so interesting. The intricacies that, you know, the ops, I'm gonna say for my bronze people, like, you know what I'm saying, the enemigo, whatever you want to call it, like how I think that they try to bring confusion and fool you. That little voice before you even there's a like before you even form the words, there's a voice that talks to you that tries to get you to believe what to me is a lie. And hypersexualizing women or anybody is just not the move in my opinion. But it's very hard to shake that because, again, when we're talking about stereotypes of manhood, that's just in our nature apparently. But now I've learned that love to the women that I have in my life who have been very transparent with me. They've over the years they've shared with me that we're not that different. You know what I mean? We're not that different. The only thing is that one is accepted and the other one is um, judged. I guess you know what I'm saying. It's how do you say? It's a stain, right? You got a badge of honor, and then the other one is a stain on your character, right? I definitely have the experience of growing up and having to lie about losing my virginity because all the men around me were just pushing the time, and you had to lose it now, and then it just never stops. The enemy is never happy. Once you lose it, now it's how many times have you done it? You know, and now you gotta add up, and it just gets super overwhelming. Where with women, it's not the same. And then the same, and then the and how it becomes this imbalance is that now you could be 25 and be a female virgin, but now they're looking at you funny, and also men are idolizing you, thinking that that's the thing that they have to get from you, your virginity. So then we all are at a loss. Um, so you know, respectfully, God has helped me with just bringing awareness. You know what I mean? Awareness of self has been the biggest key because once I'm aware of myself, then I can move from there to see where am I going now. With, like I said, the gist of this whole podcast, the man I'm scripting, right? Who am I? Who do I want to become? And I want a family. I want I want oneness. You cannot have that if every beautiful woman you think is for you, right? You have that one beautiful woman that you should choose, and you have to have one of the fruits of the spirit that give life, self-control. And that is a journey, man. That is a journey. I speak to men about it, and one thing I've been learning to do is not be fearful and think that I know what is good and what is bad. So, as I've been born a sinner and I've done my dirt, I can't look at the next man and think that I know when he should start on his journey and stop. So, love to everybody, and I just pray you don't hurt someone along the way. You know what I mean? Because I'm not gonna sit here and lie like my premarital sex wasn't amazing, right? But as I go and move on in life, I know that is not the thing to continue, because although they were all amazing partners, I know that in the midst of it, we thought that we were the partners for each other forever. And that's the sadness, that where God wants, you know what I'm saying, my opinion, wants you to, you apparently you connect, you make soul ties. You know what I mean? We don't look at it that way.
You know, the hypersexualization piece, that we didn't speak about, but
Hmm.
certainly how you know that there's hypersexualization of all of us, really, because you know,
Hmm.
definitely you know, women are hypersexualized as well. um and like, you know, the way we're told, like, we're supposed to always want sex, expect sex from women, be ready for it, never reject it, and like, right, you're supposed to be ready go time. And also,
All right.
hyper sexual images should arouse you, you know, again, if those images are of women, you know. So definitely that, again, that's still a thing that's come to define men, right?
Right.
um, and if you don't, there's something wrong with you, you know. If you're not aroused, if you're not like, yeah, so in many ways we're hypersexualized to be that, to act
Right.
these ways, to think these ways. And so, okay, so that's it's the hardest when you're fighting.
Woo, boy,
And I'm
boy,
trying not to
boy,
sexualize myself.
boy.
Listen,
I,
that's
I
real
gotta be
shit.
real with you.
No,
I
that's
gotta
real.
be
Yeah, yeah, for real. So I mean,
straight up.
that's a good one. That's a good one. I think.
And I don't think it's gonna end. I'll be like, it's gonna, it's
Well,
like,
it's definitely, you know, a work in progress, right? As you redefine what it means, what does that even mean for you, you know?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And understanding where does it come from? Like, does it come from this idea that you think because you identify as a man, like that's something you have to be, or is it, you know, like finding the
I can tell you for me where
finding
it
the
comes
middle
from.
ground of where these things are coming from? Because, but
It's
I agree with you, bro. I think that is a hard one to shake, man. I'm not gonna lie, in terms of trying to catch myself, right, when not
not looking at a woman, right? Like,
not
and
just
even
not
if you
not
can
not
look at her,
well, not even
but
I'm not
what are
thinking
you?
about just that. Well, that, well, I mean, I don't know that I struggle with that so far, because I definitely can look, but you know, just admire, but definitely never know, you know, creep, like stare you down, make you uncomfortable type of vibes, like. But
All right,
anyway,
right,
aside from
right,
that, nah,
right,
I think the part of just like, even in myself, not trying to think of myself for my body, and like, you know what I'm saying, like trying to think of myself as a,
mm. Spirit.
you know, like that, like you know, trying not to fall into like, yeah, having to like these sexual images, or always even sexualizing, you know, falling into like when other people around me are sexualizing something, and uh just trying to catch myself, and like, even that, man, like trying to not to think that I guess because I also work in a female dominated space where a lot more women work.
Mhm.
Try not to look at myself that way, like also being afraid to forge friendships, because I'm like, I don't want to come across as like that, but I'm like, why am I thinking like that? Why am I thinking that what I'm saying is in advance, or what you know, uh
Right.
which I don't, again, that thankfully is not a always problem, but it's definitely something I'm still working through, uh and not trying to think that that's just me, but that's just because I'm the man here, and like that's how they look at me, you know.
Mm. But it's not just you, my brother, right? It's not just you. It's not just
Yeah,
you.
so
And that's the biggest thing that I think and that is very important to, as a man, vulnerability is not accepted. And even is even a problem when you on my route, I don't like to label myself because I started off basically like I started off in college, liberal arts and life and guidance. I had no major, right? And even going to childhood education and giving it a shot. It's like going into spirituality, right? And so then I become, oh, I'm saying I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. But that's like earlyhood child education to God, because eventually you're gonna find something and you're gonna go even farther than that to believe into something. Now, to let people learn about me, I'm dabbling in Christianity at the moment and the specific words of Jesus, specifically the words of Jesus Christ. So what I was getting at was that this isn't just you, and it is apparently in our nature, but we are forgiven for these things, and that we have to be vulnerable with ourselves. That's where I was getting at, with vulnerability, where even in Christianity, as you find yourself reaching a certain pinnacle that you want to be transcendent, it's like you can't look back. You know what I'm saying? And almost as if like, I've heard people say that they see God so much that they don't ever look the other way to see, you know, whatever you want to quote unquote call it, the devil, Lucifer, whatever you want to call it. And to me, to each his own. That doesn't speak true to me. To me, it's balance. And this is here and this is here, but God brought me here to go that way, to keep my mind forward, to look forward. I don't have to look at God. I don't have to look at this other said entity. I have to keep my mind focused on the end. And that is the beauty that I see in Christianity with Jesus, where it's like, yo, that's a hard life, bro. Right? And nobody denies that this man was in existence. So as a man right there, imagine existing right there as a man over there, and you're just challenging the authority. Imagine that. You know what I'm saying? To challenge the authority in this day and age, to go against the grain, to allow to be a prince, a rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? And make your name a symbol. To be a Michael Jackson, where the world is coming for you, and you find yourself with so much money that what you do with it is not become more open and out there. You build a home, and then even then, the people who seep into the home are trying to force you out and tell you what you're doing there is terrible. This is what I want to stop with the world, where I respect. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to speak out here and just be vulnerable and open, because this is where I challenge with men to not have no fear. A real man, a real spiritual man, a real spirit will not succumb to fear, will not succumb, and you're gonna be it's gonna be a challenge, but don't you dare blame it on someone else. So in the conversation on today, what happened, sadly, to those twin sisters, and that man could not take the ladder of what he gave, right? He gave openness and wanted this person, but they closed the door on him. That is not a man, because you're supposed to come out here, even women, you take both and, right? You take the good with the bad and the bad with the good. And don't you ever dare, if you want to talk about manhood, don't you ever dare impress your authority onto someone else. You want to go ahead and do that? I dare you to go and do that and challenge God. You want to be a man and do that to humanity? No, do that to God and see what kind of man God is.
Not the teacup.
Sip, sip.
Yeah, you got the teacup.
Man, my man said not the teacup. Love.
Challenging your manhood at the moment. No.
I'm not trying to. That was great. I didn't look. God is not even.
You know. It
But
just
love,
threw me
bro.
off, definitely, because he just pulled that out from.
God bless. Yo, so.
I did the timing.
You were saying that you struggle with hypersexuality as well.
Oh man, that was funny. No. I was relating to like with the struggle with it. I don't think.
Yeah, what would you say is your struggle and where you feel you succeed in challenging?
Well, I think, I mean, look, just to be honest, I think that's where even like stories of Jesus I struggle with as well, because I would say that for me he even falls under the definition of the man box too, right? The leader, the soul leader who everyone follows, who everyone believed, and who had all the answers, and who was gonna lead us to, right? And he's a man, and so there's this again that pressure that you gotta lead and have the answer for your family, and so I think that's the so between having to like be the leader, be the provider, and then vulnerability, not being vulnerable. I think those are the things that I still, um, I struggle against. I think the most to try to, yeah, you know, because I do think part of it is driven by how I see myself as a man. I think, um, so I know I can say I can be vulnerable. I know I have been, but as far as even asking for help, and allowing myself to be vulnerable in that way, in such a way that I ask for help, definitely something that I am still challenged by, you know.
Ooh, self-sufficiency. Talk
Because
about.
you know, I say to myself that, you know, no, you know, you gotta figure this out. You gotta have the answers. You know, you're the man up. Like, you know, I still kind of have to, you know, have these kind of conversations with myself on, like, to try to, you know, motivate myself and get myself out of bed, so to speak. But you know, I can't. It's definitely coming from somewhere, and I do think that part of it is that for me. Um, when I know I'm like, yo, dude, I'm just human. You know, I'm just human. It's a struggle. It's a struggle right now to even survive. You know, bills are high. Everything's, you know, jobs are scarce. Jobs are doing things that are funny. Like, you know, it's becoming for sure. Yeah. So I think that I will put as a bigger struggle. And also, I think with that, the ripple effect of that is then, um, I think at least I want to feel like I want to believe that I am a space of vulnerability for other men, in my life. Um, I do you know, lately I'm like, man, I'm so like, I'm gonna figure it out myself, that I kind of extend that a little bit. I do think to my friends, and those around me. Um, so yeah, man, I can see how that's still challenging me, man, and being like, oh, dude, you know, I don't have to be this way, and yeah, um,
Well, love to you for being here, right?
right, yeah, yeah,
Because
because I
this is
never, you know,
definitely gonna break that mold.
well, because you know, I definitely never really asked for help. Chef, you definitely gave me that feedback a lot, you know, and you would be one of the folks to remind me that, like, man, look, you got me, I'm right here, you could reach out, you could talk to me, you know, you always reminded me of that, and allowed me that space to, like, you know, if you want to do it, I'm here. Like, you don't have to just go through it alone. And then, you know, I'll give you, nah, bro, I know, man, I'm good, thank you. You know, I kind of like, figure it
And
out, you
I
know,
relate, bro. And I relate to
um,
that. I know has been something that plagued me for quite some time.
yeah,
I had to learn. I forgot who it was, but love to them if they remember who they were. I remember I would be like, I know. He's like, yeah, stop saying. Yo, if you knew you was, why do you keep saying that? You say, I know. And I like, is it like just a thing you keep saying, or because if you know, you would not do it, right? I'm like, and then you know, you want to say, I know, but then you're like, oh shit. You're like, wait, it is a tick. It is like wow. It's like you said, it's men's mental health, man. Like, why am I like this? Why do I have I even asked the question? That question right there. Why am I? Right? It's always why is this? Why that? And never
yeah,
self-reflecting of why am I?
yeah,
You know, why am I? And then get to a place where you're creating the I ams, right? Not I am man, I am woman, but I am love. I am gentle. I am joyful. I am kind. You know what I'm saying? I am powerful. I am also even if you are weak, I am weak. You know what I'm saying? Like, be honest about that. So many times I felt weak,
talk to
not
me.
like, you know what I'm saying, and it was the wrong choice to turn in. right? The thing that God has spoken to me about it was to
Yeah.
turn towards and out.
It's
And
hard to do.
yeah, bro. And I promise you that I got you is what was God was saying to me. And I did that during some hard times. And you know, love to North Carolina for making me a home out here. It's been beautiful. I love your backdrop, my brother. Your
Hey,
backdrop
thank
is
you.
gorgeous. Wait, if you had to imagine where you are in this backdrop, where are you?
Huh?
If you had to
Oh
create the
man,
imagination,
I
where
haven't
are
seen it.
you right
I'm
now?
trying to figure out if it's animated or not. I can't tell if it's animated, if it's a pixelated picture. I don't know. It's kind of
Right?
giving me PS1 graphics, but I don't know if it's a painting.
Right.
It's a
What's
fireplace.
the
I think
game
that's
called?
me.
Was the game called Rain with the
Rain.
origami?
Yeah, that was rain.
That was a good one.
I don't know, man.
Any gamers you never play Rain? Holla at Rain.
Yeah, that's. Oof. I
Take
like
it
that for
back,
the story vibes.
back in the time.
But yeah,
I
man.
don't know, bro.
So no, because I also want to get to eating. You know, I have to eat dinner.
Amen,
I
amen.
didn't eat
Oh yeah,
dinner.
we entered, so it's 9 o'clock. It's
Yeah,
bedtime.
man. I'm always
Shout
trying
out.
to sleep late, but nah,
Yes,
man.
sir.
I think it's a good start. You know, and I think if we just keep opening it up, definitely we'll just get better. And
Much.
then you said it, I sound better, so I'll just go with this, and then we'll, you know. So now that I figured this out, we can start on time, and then
Yeah.
stay within our time frame as well. So for
I
the
love to you,
purpose,
my
but yeah,
brother.
man.
Thank you for
I
all
mean,
your efforts on doing this. I feel it feels successful to me. I pray it feels successful to you.
yeah, for sure, man. Anytime we can get together, man, and then get started, it's a success, man. And we
Amen.
can have these conversations. So
I don't know if you could hear the music I had too. If it was positive for you, it was good. I put a little Bob. Shout out to Robert Marley. I didn't want to be too loud.
no,
So
I actually can't hear your music in the background. I don't know if you hear the beats. It's probably because I'm sharing my screen.
I don't hear nothing, but I was like, I know I Barry would like music in the background, so let me throw a little Bob.
Oh no, yeah, I have some beats in the background playing. I think they were just coming out too loud on YouTube when I checked.
Oh,
So then I just took it off. Yeah, yeah, man.
so yeah, bro. Love to you. You want to practice the closing? What should we say? Like, you know what I mean?
Nah,
You
man.
tune into the 80 Productions, the
Yeah, man.
Manuscript. I am Rob Hegan.
And I'm ALBYBEATZ. I'm AL-BEATZ. ALBYBEATZ. Signing
Ah,
out. Yeah, man. I don't even do I still have it?
hit it.